reduced so much.
Yeah, it's a tough needle to thread. I would think at some point DeSantis or somebody will make the argument that, look, it's unfair, it's wrong, all the things he just said, but we need a nominee that's not bogged down with fighting these battles, which he has to do to stay out of jail. I can
If voters would respond that, well, then they won.
I can devote my time 24 hours a day to take it on. Yeah, that's hard. That's a tough one.
Yeah. This is ugly. And the ugliness has just begun.
So it's going to be in Miami on Tuesday. The last time around it was in New York. Miami's a little more friendly territory for Trump. This federal courthouse that he's going to be going to. And a shorter trip for him since he lives in Florida to go and show up. Now, I heard somebody...
although he was just at Bedminster last night, right?
Right.
In New Jersey.
Yeah. So Jonathan Turley was making the argument, we can play that clip a little bit, about how Trump can run on this. He could run as, to keep me out of jail, vote for me, I'll pardon myself. If you don't want them to win, a vote for me is pushing back against blah, blah, blah. And that's a pretty good argument. But mention a mugshot, surely there's not going to be a mugshot. I still think that's a ridiculous idea. The point of a mugshot is so you can identify the person and find them if you need to. Ain't nobody on planet Earth in the deepest, darkest jungles of Africa who doesn't know what Donald Trump looks like.
Yeah, I would agree. No need. I really, really regret that we're all obsessing over Donald Trump again.
I'm an innocent man.
Yep. Separating into tribes. Not talking about China or Social Security, Medicare, or the border, or any of 100 other things.
We didn't get this clip from Jonathan Turley, law professor at George Washington, and this explains a lot of what you might be wondering yourself. 42, Michael?
Joe Biden mishandled material for a much longer period in many more locations than did President Trump. So if I was Biden's counsel, I'd be a little bit uneasy. And that's one of the reasons that's going to be the first thing some of us look to, is how they thread this needle. I mean, if they're charging possession and retention of possession for a period of time, that would seem to implicate President Biden. But if they carve this out narrowly to try to focus on specific acts, separate from the possession, then there's going to be a concern that they were actually crafting this indictment not just to go for Donald Trump, but to miss President Biden.
Yeah, that's getting into the legal weeds a little bit. I understand what he's saying. Well, and just, again, you can't twist the law too much to avoid rancor and hatred and demonstrations and violence and cynicism. But you can mute it sometimes. You can tap the brakes sometimes. It happens all the time, honestly. And if they have to get that particular about getting Trump without tarring Biden, it's just going to elevate the cynicism we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
It elevates the look that it's just they crafted a puzzle piece indictment to fit Trump specifically because they want to get Trump, as opposed to what they're claiming, which is we want to enforce these laws because they're important.
And you can claim all you want that this is just a legal issue, treating everybody the same way, but it is obviously a giant political issue. It's the biggest of political issues, whether you like it or not. Here's a little bit of whether or not it hurts Trump. The last indictment helped him. That's when he separated from DeSantis in the polls by a lot. And the Alvin Bragg indictment. I don't know if this one's going to work the same way, but here's Jonathan Turley.
There's going to be a lot of appeals being taken over some of these issues, which are relatively novel, any one of which can go to the Supreme Court. The courts are going to be inclined to enjoin proceedings, very likely, to make sure they're proceeding correctly. So the bets are that this would go beyond the election. But either way, he would have the power to pardon himself if he is reelected. And so they may have given him a rather unique campaign slogan.
Yeah, vote for me. I can pardon myself. Keep me out of jail.
I find myself wondering whether every Republican candidate, aside from maybe Pence, could come out this week with, unless something new emerges, if I'm elected, I'll pardon Trump. So we can move on.
Yeah, question that I get asked by every mainstream reporter. Every candidate is going to be asked if they would pardon Trump. Now, DeSantis has said that he would look into it. That was prior to this indictment. But he didn't say no. He did the politician thing. I can have it both ways. But, yeah, that'll be a question they'll have to answer probably. It's also a good way of kind of getting the Trump thing off the table. The Trump saying you got to vote for me to keep me out of jail doesn't work if all the candidates are saying, no, we're going to pardon him anyway.
Right, I guess that's why I brought that up. That would neutralize that to some extent.
Turley alluded to it there, but so, based on what I've read, and I'm not a lawyer, I don't actually know, I only know what I read and hear on TV, but there's almost no chance this trial even starts before the election 2024. So that puts this in a different light, too. I feel like this conversation for the last 18 hours has presented it as if this trial is going to start next week, and he'll be sitting in jail during the debates or something. It's not even going to have started, most likely, by 2024.
So it's all going to be
election
wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open.
He'll have to show up to various court things, which, do they schedule those, the night before the Iowa caucus, and he has to fly to Miami to sign a piece of paper or not? I don't know how they're going to handle all that.
Yeah, we have to wrap up the segment, I believe, exclusive tape of John Marshall, considered one of the probably the greatest Supreme Court Chief Justices in history. It's rare to have tape of him since he was born in 1755, but here's John Marshall.
You see, in this country, we're very proud to have a process known as the law.
Sure, Dad.
And under the law, a man is presumed innocent until he's proven guilty.
Right, Dad.
In other words, we don't hang anybody without a fair trial.
Everybody knows that.
Sure, but sometimes we tend to forget. Well, I'm glad you understand. I'll see you kids later. I have to go shopping with your mother.
Now I have to go shopping with your mother, having just given you a little lecture about hangings.
Charming moment from American history.
Sure, Dad. Everyone knows that. Stay with us.
Armstrong and Getty.
Home title theft. It's on the rise, and it's devastating if it happens to you. Listen to the alarming words of an actual home title thief.
I don't need to know your date of birth and social security number. All I have to do is go to public records, create a document, and file that document, and then I can borrow against the house or sell the house. You may have no clue until you find out that your house has been sold, or till several loans or several banks are foreclosing on you.
For pennies a day, Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier of protection around your home's title with 24/7 monitoring. The instant they detect any tampering, you'll get an alert, and that's bad news for home title thieves. So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim with your free title scan and complete title report. $100 value free with sign up. Just go to HomeTitleLock.com and sign up in minutes. That's HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Jesse Kelly here. If given the choice between financial stress or peace of mind, I will always choose peace of mind. That is why I've secured gold and silver from the Oxford Gold Group. Having precious metals in your home safe or in your 401k or IRA should be considered your investment strategy. Simply put, it's a portfolio protection plan. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own real precious metals just like I do. Call 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Face it, life looks a little different. During these times, we're doing our best to keep our minds and bodies strong. And getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters, like having game night at home. Yeah, can't do that while sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget like your uncle's socially distanced cookouts. See? That's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now. No one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
My husband had a gun. Him and his friends would go shooting. The ammunition, unfortunately, was not stored separately. In a million years, we never thought that Emily could. There's a hole in our family that can never, ever be filled.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. With safe gun storage, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With acretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to acretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's acretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
They're trying to destroy your reputation so they can win an election. That's just as bad as doing any of the other things that have been done over the last number of years, and especially during the 2020 election. So I just want to tell you, I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong.
Donald J. Trump accused of all sorts of crap. Again, he had more to say.
It's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. This is warfare for the law. And we can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. Our country is going to hell. And they come after Donald Trump, weaponizing the Justice Department, weaponizing the FBI.
Well, again, as far as anybody breaking with the former president, Ron DeSantis, his number one opponent, basically said the same things Trump just said in a tweet last night, and so did the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, in backing the president. So, there you go.
Speaking of Twitter, Elon Musk is out arguing that the indictment risks losing the trust of the American public. Quote, "There does seem to be far higher interest in pursuing Trump compared to other people in politics," Musk tweeted Thursday night. He added, quote, "Very important that the justice system rebut what appears to be differential enforcement, or they will lose public trust." I think that's absolutely true, although I think they've already lost it. It's too late. You know, I went through the list earlier. The Russian collusion hoax, ridiculous, phony, and crooked. The first impeachment over the Zelensky phone call, ridiculous. It was never going to succeed. It was a publicity stunt. The second impeachment, I thought, was deserved. You might differ over January 6th, and that's fine. But Nancy Pelosi wrote the articles, so it was impossible for virtually any Republican to vote for them. That was intentional. She wanted it out there for the midterms, so more deception and dishonesty. Then you've got the idiotic Alvin Bragg, Stormy Daniels, bookkeeping errors garbage in Manhattan. Just laughable, and even people on the left admit that. And then, so
Adam Schiff reading the Steele dossier into the congressional record when he had to know it was crap. How about Michael Avenatti, the drip, drip, drip of that being him on TV 500 times? All that stuff adds up. Hush money scandal. All that stuff adds up to the tremendous cynicism that there is out there.
And Comey and Page and Strzok and all of that. And then, and here's the there's a lesson here, kids. Then we get instructed us getting them back. Many tampered with witnesses. You gotta believe us. This is all totally legit. Take our words.
This time we mean it.
Yeah. And you know, if it's 100% legit, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is the boy who cried wolf over and over again.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And that is, politically, it's
terrible for the country.
Yep, we're going to get to live through it. It's going to be very exciting. The Economist came out with an interesting article. The moratorium on repaying student loans in America was a bad idea. The pause in student loan payments actually caused borrowers to rack up more debt, not less, according to The Economist.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
I've heard from multiple young people who are really unprepared to resume making payments. They've changed their lifestyles.
Well, that's a story that's going to hit hard as soon as the payments kick in. Nobody knows.
Tomorrow. Yesterday.
September.
September, exactly.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal.
Thanks.
We got some other stuff to break down in hour 4. Yeah, we do 4 hours. You didn't know that? Sure. If you missed an hour, grab the podcast. Armstrong and Getty on demand.
Armstrong and Getty.
1080 AM, 104.1 FM, KSCO, Santa Cruz, and AM 1340, KONY, LaSalle Beach.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Former Vice President Mike Pence says no one is above the law, but he is saddened that the Justice Department has indicted Donald Trump on federal charges.
This is a sad day for America to see a former president of the United States face an indictment under federal law.
Pence was interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. Meanwhile, the former president is claiming innocence after being indicted on federal charges of mishandling classified documents. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton with that report.
The former president said he did nothing wrong in the handling of classified documents at his Florida home.
I'm an innocent man. We will prove that again.
In a video released after announcing his indictment, Trump said the federal indictment is a case of political warfare.
The whole thing is a hoax, just like Russia, just like the fake dossier was a hoax.
He said he's being summoned to a federal courthouse in Miami on Tuesday. Greg Cluxton, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, the chief suspect in the 2005 disappearance of Kathleen Holloway has arrived at a courthouse in Alabama to face charges that he tried to extort the missing